Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dally Mac. Today we're going to get into a video about the Cartier family. They had a sit-down interview with Wesley Hunt and Byron Donalds, two Black Republicans that have been, brought to my attention, and I've seen them more and more on my YouTube algorithm and all that. But I followed their page for a few years now, and I've seen it grow over time. And they've kind of, drifted into the political aspect, and I don't think it's just for clicks and views. I think they've actually been awoken to something, and they're trying to do their own research and form their own beliefs by themselves, and not just what they were told when they grew up, or hey, the Black community, we always vote Democrat and all this and that. But it's been very interesting to see them grow and have their back and forth debates on their channel about certain policies and certain issues that are going on in this country. But I've done a little bit of research. I'm still growing and doing more research, and hopefully you guys can send me links to things that maybe might enlighten me on different perspectives, or why you view politics the way that you view them. But I've grown a deep respect, mostly for Byron Donalds, and I thought he had a good shot at being Donald Trump's running mate. But I know that whole incident with seeing, he did like a little sit down and was speaking and brought up Jim Crow, and the left-wing media took that and ran with it. So I don't know how much that worked. I mean, I don't think that worked in his favor at all, but I'm still interested to see the work that he does, and I want to follow up with him. But Wesley Hunt, I've seen him on a couple of videos, but I haven't followed up much with him and done enough research on him. But I've heard him speak a couple times, and he sounds like he has a good head on his shoulders, and he's very like-minded with Byron Donalds. But like I said, I need to do my own research to form my own opinion. I don't want to assume that he has the same beliefs as Byron Donalds just because they speak on some of the same talking points. But without further ado, I'm gonna get into this video. If you could please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe. Please let me know if you would like to see more content, more political content, or if you have any videos you want me to check out down below, and I'll get to them as I can. But we're gonna hop into this interview. I'll probably chop it up and highlight some of my favorite parts of the interview and what I thought was really powerful, and what I think people. Let's get into this reaction.
Legendary men, Congressman Byron Donalds and Wesley Hunt, we are honored to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. So we've done some videos on you guys. We're very like-minded people. We agree with a lot of things you say. We love you guys. So we're excited to be here. So my first question is, what got you guys into politics? Like, did you always have a passion for it, or what got you into it?
Yeah. Thought about doing it for a while when I was a kid growing up. Assumed a lot of leadership roles, class president, things like that, captain of a football team, basketball team, and always had an affinity to want to get into service. I come from a military family, so my whole family served in the military. Brother, sister, and I all served. My dad served. So we had a rule in our house, and that is you find a way to serve this country, to give back in some capacity, to defend freedom for the next generation. And so
I think that's powerful, because we're all kind of out doing our own thing, trying to make it in this world, and we lose sight of trying to leave it better for the next generation. And especially for the Black community, there's just a lot of things I don't agree with that the Black community either highlights or omits, and it doesn't help our culture for future generations. It kind of just leaves us in this hole that we've seem to have been stuck in for a while. And there are a few there's a few of us that kind of slip through the cracks. We kind of break out of that matrix of being a part of that community, and the things that kind of keep them down. But I like that, I like that take on we're trying to leave things better for the next generation. And I think with all that's been going on, it's kind of sending us in a opposite direction. There's just things that we're letting people steal and destroy businesses and further destroy communities where people are saying, oh, we need to build this community up. And it's like, well, in order to build this community up, we have to stop the crime. We have to, be a little bit tougher on crime and let people know that it's not okay to steal and rob and just do these very damaging things to these communities. And until we're willing to acknowledge that and accept that and work on that, then we can't keep waiting on these heroes in politics to save these communities. We have to want to do right for ourselves and see the damage that we're causing and try to move on from, try to find a way to fix it and repair it and then move forward from that and leave something better for kids. Can't keep continuing this cycle of we're going to vote this person in office and they're going to make these things change, but they're really just doing things that helps, things that are consistently setting our community back. So that's my 2 cents.
We all served, deployed multiple times, got back, got done, but that doesn't mean our service is over. And so we continued our service. This, for me, is continued service to honor the mandate that my parents put on me. Now, I thought I would be doing it in 10 years from now, when I was a little bit older, in my 50s, 60s, go work, make some money. An opportunity opened up in Houston, ran once, lost, just like Byron, and then came back again stronger, better. Was able to get into a newly drawn district in Texas the following cycle, and here.
This is a little off topic, but he said he ran and he didn't get elected, and then he came back a little bit. He went back, re-strategized, and did a little bit more work to build himself back up, and then they ran again, and of course they're in the spots that they're in now. But that's that motto that I say at the end of my videos, where I say wake up and choose greatness. You can't let any obstacle prevent you from reaching your goals or achieving things that you want to achieve. There's going to be obstacles. Life just isn't fair, but you gotta get up and wake up with a positive mindset and keep finding a way to make those dreams come true in a prosperous way. So,
and here I am. So it's a blessing. God's been very good to me in putting us in this position. But I think Byron and I can speak to the times that we live in right now, where the country is right now. This is why we're here in Atlanta right now to talk about how to get our country back. And this is all about service, and it's all about figuring out a way to leave this place better than we found it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got into politics really back in 2010. But before that, I was apolitical. I didn't care about politics.
And that's exactly how I was. I was just like, because when I was in school and living with my, parents or grandparents, this stuff didn't directly affect me. I mean, it might have had like a secondhand effect through my parents or through my grandparents. This stuff didn't affect me, but when I started working, started seeing more taxes come out of my paycheck, start seeing grocery prices go up, gas prices go up, and then you start doing some research and you're trying to figure out where this taxpayer money is going, and you're seeing it's going to A and B and C that don't align with what you believe in, and it doesn't help put money back in your pockets. It doesn't help other Americans. You start waking up and you start, honestly, it kind of angers you a little bit, and then you try to figure out a way to make change, or at least inspire change. And that's part of the reason why I started this channel, is to bring attention to these things, just through the things that I've learned from these videos and doing my own research and seeing how my personal beliefs align more conservatively. And I know a lot of people might have some comments about that, and they have their preconceived notion about the Republican Party, but I do challenge you to go do your own research. There's a few videos that I've seen other YouTubers do, and I've even seen it multiple times for myself, and maybe it can shed some light on why I kind of shifted my political beliefs. I would say I was independent, left-leaning, but now that I've been awoken to things that my tax dollars and these things that are going on in everyday society now, seeing how they're kind of damaging American society as a whole, my views have shifted much more right-leaning. I would say I'm still independent because I have to do my research on all of these people, because there are bad seeds on both sides. But as far as what I've seen and what I've researched, a lot of the conservative values align with what I am at, or who I am at my core. So.
All I cared about was sports, my kids, my career. Never got into any of that. And so what happened was, when the economy was collapsing back in 2008, the insurance company I was working for, our clients were international. And I had worked in banking before I moved to insurance. And so the bosses came to me and said, we need you to research what's happening in the economy so we can go back to our investors who are overseas and tell them to keep the investment, because that was keeping the company afloat. So due to research of figuring out what was going on in the economy, I turned on House Financial Services Committee in Congress to see what was Congress doing. And when I turned it on, I'm listening to members of Congress talk about the economy. I was like, who are these people? They don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what's happening out here in the world. And so that's how I got the bug. I started like really reading, started watching cable news.
And obviously I don't have cable, but I've been making an effort to see both sides. So I watch CNN, I watch MSNBC, I watch Fox News, try to get both of their perspectives and angles, and make sure I have an unbiased opinion before I stand on a certain side. And I do need to read more books, or at least more articles, to get more of a foundation. And that's why I said it's important to do your own research. A lot of people just go based on their emotion, or based on what their parents told them, or based on they don't want to ruffle any feathers, so they just don't say anything at all. But that's the only way we can resolve these issues and come to an agreement, is if we talk them out. But if one side is shunning the other side out, or they're doing character defamations to hone in their points, then we're not solving anything. We're further dividing ourselves. We're further creating more conflict, creating more distance between each other. And we really should be coming together and uniting as American people. And we should be able to come to an agreement on what the priorities are in this country, and what's kind of on the back burner until it needs to be brought to the forefront. So
Cable news didn't really make much sense. Everything was surface level. Everything was talking points. Started reading books on political philosophy. I've read Frederick Bastiat. I've read John Locke. I've read Montesquieu. Started really understanding just the political thought, not modern politics. And then once going through all that, realized I was conservative, and then I started getting involved in the local Tea Party movement, and I just got involved and kept moving. When I ran in 2012 the first time, I just got the bug, man. Like, I was like, oh, I could do this. Yeah. When I went through a campaign, sitting on the stage with other people running for office, debating them, and then I'm sitting there like doing the debates, and I'm like, oh, I know more than this dude. I know more than that guy. And then people just started rallying around me, and I got the bug, and I just stayed with it. Here I am.
And to his point too, there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there, and I hate saying that because it's kind of a word that was tossed around during the pandemic to suppress certain people. But there's just a lot of information out there, and it can kind of overwhelm you. But you kind of got to read between the lines and find your way through the cracks of what's fact and what's anecdotal, or and that's why I said you got to do your own research. You got to cross-reference certain points of time, certain events that took place, and why they took place, and that's kind of the journey that I've been on. And you also got to you have to be willing to consider the fact that maybe your beliefs aren't what you thought they were, and you kind of got to step outside of that and compare the two side by side and see what's what. That's legit the only way you're going to be able to have an open mind about certain policies and certain viewpoints of American citizens. I am 100% America first. We need to take care of our citizens, make sure that we're taken care of before we can send money to these different entities that don't necessarily benefit us, and it kind of puts us in a rut and in a hole, So
wow, amazing. Okay, well, let's get into the meat and potatoes, man. So my first question is something that we argue about. We live together, so we got into this argument about the school system, and I was basically saying that if we made school harder for low income areas, that more kids will drop out, and that might affect the society, as in crime rates, and they'll be running around basically like the immigrants are running around right now.
And I had a similar mindset to him, especially in college and coming up in high school. And Byron, I believe it's either Byron or Wesley that's going to answer his question. And they do such a phenomenal job of breaking down why it's not good to lower your standards to lift other people up, because it kind of creates a standard of mediocrity. And it if they have the opportunity and the ability to be successful, to achieve goals and things like that, then it's not doing us any good kind of holding their hand along the way. Like we can point them to the water, we can take them to the water, but we cannot make them drink it. And you'll hear, I believe it's Wesley that's going to speak on this, but you'll hear him break it down a lot better than I can. So
I went to a bunch of different schools. I've been to predominantly white schools. I've been to predominantly black schools. And I seen a difference in the education and how everything's structured inside the school. Like I went to, for instance, going to the white school in the Woodlands, Texas, and just the way everything was structured when we went to class, from being not late to class to the homework assignments that we had after school, it was very difficult coming from a predominantly black area. So it was very overwhelming, I would say. So I was crying to my mom, "Give me out these AP classes. They were too hard, playing sports and stuff like that." And then I moved from that area and went to back to a predominantly black area, and school was easy. They told me, "Come to class, you get an A." I never seen that in my life. We didn't have to do homework. They said, "Come to class, you get an A."
And you got to think about that. Like, the point of school is to get educated, become articulate, be able to read and write at a high level. And if you're telling kids that legit all they have to do is show up to get a good grade, then what are they actually learning in school? I remember when even early in elementary school, I took pride in everything I did in school. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to outwork everybody. Of course, I want to see everybody do well, but personally, I didn't want there to be any excuses why I didn't know anything or why I couldn't answer certain questions. And I don't want to go on a tangent, but as I became more popular with athletics in like middle school and high school and stuff like that, I kind of dialed it back, which I put that on myself for doing that, because it's kind of like, do you want to be the cool jock or do you want to be the nerdy kid? So I found like a balance, but now I'm like, all I cared about is being educated, being able to give people good information on how to be successful, and just to have a positive and mindset that is driven to achieve great things. And like I said, that's why my slogan is wake up and choose greatness, because it is a choice to overcome every obstacle. Like he's saying that he's been to different schools and this and that, but one thing I want to say is, like, no matter what is thrown at you, you got to find a way to overcome, make it through it. There's going to be tough times. I've been through hell and back multiple times, and each time I come out stronger, and I find a way to kind of reinvigorate myself and keep striving for greatness.
So I was thinking, like, if these kids already don't want to go to school, because I know most of those kids, being honest, they didn't want to go to school. If these kids already don't want to go to school, and we put harder systems in place at the school, these kids will drop out, I feel like. So I was saying, like I guess that school choice.
And to his point, he's not wrong on that, but that's why we have to kind of restructure these education systems, or the ones that want to learn but don't have the resources where they are located. We have to find a way to, and I think Byron brings up that point, we have to find a way to get these resources to those kids that actually want to achieve something. They're not waiting for a handout. They're not taking the easy way out. They're not making excuses for why they're not successful or why they are in the place that they're at. And it's painful to see people kind of choose that path, but greatness is a mindset. You have to want to be great. You have to want better for yourself. You have to want better for your family and for your future generations. when you have this mindset that you're always a victim or somebody's going to hand you something, then you're waiting for a blessing that might never come if you don't put that work in.
Doesn't just start in high school.
Yeah.
That starts in elementary school.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, the ability for young kids to read at high levels early on sets their trajectory for everything when it comes
Definitely.
to school. So I think that the number one thing is, what are we doing with children in kindergarten, in first grade,
Yeah.
in second grade? Do they have the building blocks, knowing how to read phonetically? Do they have strong math skills early on? Because if you have strong math skills early,
Yeah.
then you'll build them continuously. Are young kids reading enough in elementary school so that when you have to read in middle school and high school, it's natural. It's like swinging a baseball bat. It's like shooting a free throw. All that starts very, very early. It's no different than athletics if you really take the time
Yeah.
to think about it.
And to his point, because I was an athlete, and I know that you have a good foundation, you have the fundamentals instilled in you, then it just comes naturally to you to keep developing, keep advancing your game. I mean, when I would go to the gym, I would start off with form shooting or some type of layups, whether it's mic and drills, just to get myself warmed up. But then, the person next to me might show up to the gym and start shooting 3-pointers off the rip. And to me, it was important to me to build the foundation and get myself warmed up by working on some form shooting so that my shot, I have the same form on my shot. Now, my shot was a little wonky and I had to work on it, but it was just important to me to build those, that routine and repetition. So once my shot was worked on, then the next thing I could work on is working on my shot off the dribble, or working off the catch and shoot, or working off of coming off a screen. Once that form is there, it's kind of just automatic. You got the same form and release every single time. So you can add different elements to that and, still maintain the fundamentals.
I think that